In today's video, we'll be working with the Order of Operations Agreement. This video will benefit those of you just getting into math, or for those of you who have been doing math for some time but never really learned the concept of order of operations. In most numerical expressions, functions and such, we will always almost be asked to add, subtract, divide, or multiply, not in that particular order. So in order to prevent getting the wrong answer or multiple answers, we must always follow these rules. Number 1, do all operations inside parentheses. Number 2, simplify numerical expressions containing exponents. Number 3, multiply and divide from left to right. And number 4, add and subtract from left to right also. Now this always has to be done that way, otherwise you will also get a wrong answer. That's all you gotta do. Now there's an easier way or an easier name to remember these steps. We usually learn this from our teachers in middle school or high school, even in college, for those of you that are taking, intro classes to math. That's called Pemdas. Pemdas basically means parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. All you gotta do is just remember for 3 and 4, for multiply and divide, left to right, add and subtract, also from left to right. So just remember that, okay? Now let's take a look at a couple of examples and see how this works out. Okay, so our first example, simplify the following equation. Now with this equation, we got multiple things going on. You got multiplication, addition, exponents, more addition, and some division. So how do you know what to do in order to get the right answer? So you don't want to do whatever you think is easier or whatever you see first. You always got to follow the steps. So the first thing we got to do is solve whatever's in the parentheses. So in this case, it's 4 plus 1. Okay, so now that we've done the first step, parentheses, the next thing we got to do is solve for exponents. So the only exponent part is here, so we got to solve that first before we do anything else. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so now we've done the exponent part. Remember that 2 to the third power is 8. The next thing we got to do is, we see here some multiplication and some division. Just remember that those, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, always go from left to right. So the first thing we see here is some multiplication, okay? So we can do them simultaneously together, or you can just do one at a time. Let's do one at a time on this example. Okay, so here we did the multiplication first, and then the division. So this is 10 minus 8 plus 6 divided by 2. From here, we go to here, 10 plus 8, 10 minus 8 plus 3. We've already done that here. So here, the only thing we have left is subtraction and addition. So just remember that it's always from left to right. So don't try to do the addition first before subtracting the numbers. So let's do that here real quick. Okay, so from here, we got that 10 minus 8 is equals to 2 plus 3. Now the last thing we gotta do is add that. So our final answer is equals to 5. So as you can see, we follow every single rule in order to get this answer. If you would have done something different, say you would have started from here dividing, or maybe the exponents, or just cross your way around, and you would have probably ended up with a completely different number. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Okay, so here you see we have an exponent first, then addition, and then multiplication, and then we got parentheses. So just remember, always do parentheses first, exponent seconds, and the other stuff after. So here, our parentheses, this is here, so let's solve for that. Okay, now we've done the parentheses. The next thing we gotta do is exponents. The exponents is right here. This just happens to be at the beginning. But since these are all positive numbers, you could easily move that here, and you still have to do the exponent part first. Okay, so let's do that real quick. Okay, so now we have addition and multiplication. So in this case, the multiplication comes first. Okay, so let's do that. And finally, the last thing we gotta do is add this number together. So that's pretty easy. After following all those steps, all the correct rules, we get that our answer is 24. Now you can do this, as I mentioned earlier, these are all positive numbers. Well, the ones here, not here. So once you get to this point, you know, if you move this number here, you will have to do that first anyway, so you will still get the same answer. But if you begin doing following the wrong rules, doing the wrong steps first, your answer will probably be different. Okay, so these are just a couple of examples on how to do the order of operations, or as I mentioned earlier, if you call it Pemdas, which is an easy way to remember, since you have to memorize this because you won't be able to use, you know, any type of cheat sheet any time in your test or anything like that. So this is very, very basic math. From here, even though these are very basic problems, as you get higher level math classes, you still have to use these order of operations. Doesn't matter what kind of problem you're working with. So this is very important for everyone doing any kind of math. Hope you liked the video. If you do, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thanks.